Hello and welcome to our first episode of Toddler Tips Tuesday, Walt Disney World Edition. I'm Tania with Magical Memory Planners.
And Tam here with Lifestyling with Tan.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about these things, face coverings. So face coverings are required at Walt Disney World at this time. For the latest information, make sure you go to the Walt Disney World website to have all the latest requirements when heading to the parks. But we're going to be talking about facial coverings because that is one of the things that is required when you go into the parks or when you're on Walt Disney World property. So anybody 2 and older, they have to wear a face covering. So we are taking our toddlers, and my son will be 3 in June. So when we go, he's quite not going to be 3 yet, so he's still 2. However, he still has to wear a face covering. So, you know, it's really hard to probably get toddlers to try to wear a face covering, and we really have been working with him to do that. Face coverings are a very controversial topic, and we just felt like it was right for our family to go at this time. Our reasoning is, I will never get this time back with my son. He will never be the same age. So I really want to enjoy these moments, even though things are going to look a little bit different. We're going to have to be, you know, a little bit more cautious of things. I still want to make sure that we're making those memories as a family, and Walt Disney World is a place where I have a lot of memories, and I want to continue to make those with my son. And he is almost 3, he's not 3 yet, but he is free. So I kind of wanted to get that last trip in before we actually have to pay for him to go. I know people say he will not remember, or, you know, there's too young to remember, and that is true, but I will remember. I will have those memories of him. I will remember the time I took him to Walt Disney World at this age. He's at an age where he can really express himself, or starting to express himself, and just show the excitement and point out characters, and he's watching the Disney movies. So we felt like it was a time that it was okay to take him. Even though we understand things are different, he will have to wear a facial covering, and it's not going to be Walt Disney World like we were used to before all of this happened. However, we are okay with that, and our family is fine with that. And some other families may not be fine with that, and that is okay. And having a toddler wear a facial covering, it is so hard. I understand, if I'm completely honest, when the pandemic first started and before we even planned our trip, my toddler was not wearing a mask. He was everywhere without one of these. So it is very difficult, but when we decided we were ready to go, we started working with him on simple things as getting out of the car and going into the restaurant and being able to wear his facial covering. Going to the grocery store, just working with him because we knew this trip is something we wanted to do. But Tam will actually share with you some tips and things that she did to help her daughter also be able to wear her facial covering as we are getting ready to go on our trip. So Tam?
Thanks, Tanya, for sharing that information with us. So let's talk about mask wearing for your toddler. Yeah, getting your toddler to do anything is pretty hard, right? Right. So when we talk about mask wearing, that's probably something we really just rather avoid. And for the longest time, that's what I was doing, avoiding it, because I just knew that was not something she would want to do. I knew it was something that would not be easy to get her to do. And I really didn't see the point in her needing to wear a mask. That's just a whole nother topic of discussion. But at that time, she didn't need to. She was under the age limit for our area where we live. So everywhere she went, you know, she didn't technically have to wear a mask, and we were good with that. But when we decided that we wanted to go to Disney, and especially because we wanted to take her to Disney before she turns 3 and make it part of her 3rd birthday, we realized that, you know, if we're gonna go, she's gonna have to wear a mask because Walt Disney World is regulating mask wearing. So, I wanted to share with you guys just a few of the things that worked for me and my daughter to get her to wear masks, and now I know she's going to wear a mask at Disney World and I don't have to stress. so much. So I put together a few tips to share with you guys, and the first thing I wanted to talk about is just the masks in general. Make sure that when you decide that you're going to, introduce mask wearing to your little one, however old they may be, that you choose masks that interest them, that catch their eye, catch their attention, that make it fun for them, make them want to wear them. So choose like favorite characters of theirs, favorite colors, fun patterns. My daughter's really girly and frilly and loves fancy patterns and things, so I chose masks that she would like. Not only do you want the appearance of the mask to be attractive to your child, but you also want it to be a comfortable mask. So I really personally love these masks that I found at Target by Harper and Elliott. They're one size fits all kids mask, but what I love about them is that they have this little this little design where you can tighten the ear loops or loosen the ear loops as she grows and to fit her face and her ears and everything, so it makes it comfortable for her to wear. So choosing comfort is a very important thing too, especially when you decided to go to Disney in June and it's going to be hot. So not only making sure it's going to fit over their face properly, it's going to be comfortable on their ears, it's going to be breathable and not so hot on their face, so light material, things like that. This is another mask I found, I think at Carter's. Yeah, I think I bought this at Carter's. So it was a cute, very lightweight mask, and I love the little loops are very soft material, so they won't rub her little ears for long extended time of wearing a mask at Disney. So comfort and appearance of the mask is key. That's the first tip. When I decided to start mask training my child, she was not having it. It didn't come easy. So I don't want you to think that as I share these tips with you and say, this is what worked for me. I'm not at all saying this is gonna work for you. I'm just throwing them out there to say, hey mama, dada, try it. If you've tried anything else and it's not worked, try these things. And if they don't work, I don't know what to tell you, because this is what worked for my kid. But yeah, so the first thing that I wanted to do is, because I know that my child loves her little characters that she watches like on Disney Junior. So I decided to go that route first and expose her to seeing characters she loves wearing masks. And one of the reasons that I was able to do this is because she loves Fancy Nancy, and Fancy Nancy actually has an episode where she plays a doctor and she's actually wearing a surgical mask, so it was perfect. And I remember that episode, and so I decided to show my daughter Delaney that episode, and we talked about it. And I didn't just show it to her one time, I showed it to her several times. I mean, even though she'd already seen this episode, God knows how many times, this was the first time, and every time we saw it after this, that I actually sat with her and talked to her about, oh look, Fancy Nancy's wearing a mask. Oh look, Bree's wearing a mask too. Doctors and nurses have to wear masks. You see mommy and daddy wearing masks sometimes. Just talking with her about it, drawing attention to the fact that, oh, Fancy Nancy's wearing a mask. Just to see, just to see. And then the next step that I took, which would be the next tip, not only letting them see and exposing them to seeing characters or people wearing masks, but also putting their masks on their favorite toys. So this is Moana. This is another favorite in our household. And I decided to show Delaney Moana wearing a mask. So I definitely had to rig it up, because obviously masks are not going to fit on this little bitty doll. Let me see if I can rig it up here for you, just so you can get the visual that Delaney had. So yeah, definitely don't show it to them like this, but pull it down, make it look like when mommy and daddy's wearing a mask. Oh look, Delaney, Moana's wearing your mask. Oh my goodness. And while I'm doing this and while I'm talking to her, I'm not bringing up the fact that she's going to eventually wear a mask. I'm not even touching that yet. I'm just pointing out that, oh look, Moana, your doll, she's wearing a mask. And this was the ticket. So once she saw Moana with a mask on, then she wanted to put masks on other dolls. So we did that, I'm going at her pace, doing her thing. And then she said, I'll wear a mask. It's like, okay, yeah, you can wear a mask. We can do that, And so what we did, tip number 3, I put her in front of her bathroom mirror and said, okay, let's put on a mask. And while I'm doing this, I'm wearing my mask as well. So I'm wearing my mask. Okay, put your mask on like mommy and wear it like Moana was wearing it. And so I helped her put it on. Well, actually I gave it to her first to let her see if she could put it on, because as you know, toddlers want to do everything themselves. So I just let her go with it, you know, and of course she needed my help. So once she asked for my help, I was like, okay, helped her put her mask on. And then we looked in the mirror and we were like, oh, look how funny we look with our masks on, you know, just talking about it, drawing attention to the fact she's wearing a mask. She did not wear the mask long. After she took it off, I said, do you want to put it on again? No. So it was short-lived, but she got it on. And that was the ticket. From that point on, I knew she would put it on. Because before this, no, I had asked, I had tried, and it always resulted in tears and just an unhappy child, and that's not what I wanted, and I didn't want to deter her away from it, so I didn't push, didn't bother. So now that we finally got the mask on, we can move on to tip number 4. Start letting your child wear the mask, now that you know they'll put it on, for small increments of time. I mean, 5 seconds if that's all it takes. So we started at home, you know, I was just like, hey, Delaney, put your mask on. Let's take a picture, put your mask on. That's another thing to help, not only letting them see themselves in the mirror, but taking a picture. They can see themselves with a mask on, so it kind of makes it fun. So that helped. But yeah, so we started wearing it at home just for however long she would keep it on. It wasn't long. Then I got a wild hair and I decided to start taking one of her masks with us when we went to restaurants. That's where I started, because I knew that that was a very short amount of time that I could get her to put a mask on before she gets out of her car seat. And when we get into the restaurant, she can immediately take it off. So that's where I started. And the very first restaurant we went to, I said, okay, we're gonna wear our masks now. Okay, we're gonna wear it into eat. We're gonna go eat. When we sit down, you can take it off. Okay. So she was ready. Now, if she would have said no, I probably would have waited and tried again at another time, but she didn't. So I put the mask on. She whined a little bit as I tried to put it on, because she's like, oh, Mom, what have I signed up for? But I got it on her and I was like, oh, let's take a picture. You want to take a picture with Mommy with your mask on? Because of course I have mine on too. So we take a picture, make it fun. And then we go in to sit down and she immediately takes it off, but she wore it into the restaurant. So that was a plus. So not only the small increments of time is tip number, I don't even know where we're at, 4 or 5. The next tip, praise and reward. So because she wore the mask into the restaurant, yay Delaney, after we've sat down and after she's removed it, yay Delaney, you wore the mask, good job. Do you want some gummies? Here, you can have some gummies because you wore your mask into the restaurant. That's such a good job. So my last tip, praise and reward. As with anything, praise and rewards always get you where you need to go. And very different than bribery, because I don't want anybody to sit here and say, oh, she bribed her kid to wear a mask. No. Bribery is when you tell your kid before she even puts the mask on, I'll give you a sucker if you wear this mask. That's bribery. She didn't know she was getting gummies. She didn't know that I was going to praise and reward her if she wore the mask inside. We just went about the action. She performed the action, so then I praised her, and I just decided to give her gummies that time because it was the first time she wore it into any public place, and in this case, a restaurant. So now, after that, we worked it up to grocery stores, and from there, it's just kind of, it's a thing now. She knows when she comes out of her car seat, anywhere we go in, she's wearing a mask, but I know to some parents out there, you know, it could be harder than that. But just know that I don't praise and reward her that often anymore now. It's just kind of an expected action. The praise and reward was just in the beginning, and she didn't get a reward every time because I didn't want her to believe that, oh, you're going to get gummies every time you wear a mask. Like now, I don't really have to praise and reward her. It's just an expectation, and she does it. So that's kind of where I went with this whole ordeal, and kind of how I got my child to wear masks, and that's what worked for us. So I'm happy to share that with you, and I hope that one of those tips at least will help you if you're having trouble getting your child to wear a mask, especially if you're mask training for Disney World. Had it not been for our trip to Disney World, she probably still wouldn't be wearing a mask. So, but anyways, thanks guys so much for watching this video. Thanks Tanya for sharing your information. I hope you guys are enjoying our videos. This was our first one, and I hope you'll stay tuned for next Tuesday's video as we bring you more information about traveling to Disney World with toddlers. Thanks for watching. Bye.